Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, you're welcome. Today's video I'll be showing you guys on how I made this beautiful stylish luxury bubu. It is very easy to make. For this style I used two different colors of Mikado fabric and I tack sequence design to the V shape in front and also at the back just to beautify it. So if this is what you would love to learn how to make, please sit back, relax and enjoy the tutorial. To create this style, you'll be drafting on your pattern paper first. So I'm joining two pattern papers together in order to achieve my desired length. So after joining the two pattern papers together, you will rule your starting line. I measured neck width 3.5 inches, neck depth for the front 3 inches, neck depth for the back 9 inches. The front neckline is higher than the back. The front neckline is a round shape while the back neckline is a V shape. The back neckline I measured 9 inches for the V shape. Front neckline 3 inches for the neck depth. So from the center back to where the sleeve will stop, I measured 24 inches. At that point, I came down by 2 inches for the shoulder slope. Then I connect it to the neck width. The sleeve opening, I measured 10 inches for the sleeve opening. Next, I mark the length of my dress, which is 65 inches including hemming allowance. I marked shoulder to my waist 17 inches, shoulder to my hip 25 inches. I impute my hip measurement divided by 4 plus 3 inches. The total wideness that I have is 16 inches. Then from there I rule that to the sleeve opening and I connect to the sleeve and curve the armhole to blend to the wideness of the body. Then from the waist I slant it a little bit to the hem. At the hem I measured 18 inches at the hem. So from the 16 inches up I slant it to meet the 18 inches at the hem to give it a little bit of a shape. I later made little adjustments. I increased the wideness to make it 17 inches from the waist and I slant it back to the hem. I realized that I'm going to use inner belt, so That is why I increased the wideness. Whenever I want to use inner belt for my bubu, I always like it to be big. It looks more beautiful when it's big. That's my own personal preference. I rule a straight line on my hip line. Then from the side of my hip, I'm going to slant it to wherever I want the slant to be. I came up 1 inch above the hip line, then I slant it. At this point, just be creative. There's no specific measurement at this point. Just be creative at this point. This is my first time of making this style, so as you can see, I'm making little adjustments here and there. So just be creative at this point. You can slant it however you like. Then before cutting it out, I added 1/2 inch seam allowance to the shoulder. That's about it for the drafting. So I'm cutting the front neckline first, shoulder slope, the sleeve, and the body. Then from where I slant, I'm also going to cut it. So after cutting, I'm going to use the pattern paper to cut on the fabric. These are the 2 colors of Mikado fabric that I'll be mixing together. I think each of the color is 2.5 yards. I've had this fabric for a very long time, so I can't really remember, but I think it's about 2.5 yards. But you need 2 yards for each of the color to achieve the style. You don't need more than 2 yards. So you fold it into 4 and place the upper part of the pattern paper on it. Make sure that you pin the paper to the folded edge of the fabric like so. Pin it down so that when you are cutting, it won't be moving around. So the lower part, add your seam allowance to it. I added 1 inch seam allowance to it. Then I cut it out. After cutting, you remove the pin. You remove the front bodies. Then you deepen the neckline for the back bodies. I'm going to first of all cut out the back neckline on the pattern paper. Then I'll place it back on the body and trace it out on the fabric. Like I said earlier, the back neckline is going to be V-shape. Pin it down if necessary so that it won't be moving around. Then you trace the back neckline V-shape. After that, I'm going to cut facing for both the front and the back neckline. This is my leftover fabric. I will use it to cut facing for the necklines. This is facing for the back neckline. I'm going to iron edge stitch to the wrong side of the fabric before using it to turn the neckline. I'll cut facing for the front neckline as well. Next, I folded the red fabric into 4 and I placed the pattern paper on it. I added seam allowance to it, to the lower part 1 inch like I did to the upper part. And I cut it out. Next, I will join the two fabrics together. I'm going to first of all pin them together before taking to my sewing machine to sew. Next, you will pin the bodies together, right side facing each other. You will take the front bodies, you pin it to one side of the red of the down part. This is how you will pin it, right side facing each other. You pin it down. After pinning, I will take to my sewing machine. I'm going to sew 1 inch. After sewing 1 inch, I will open up the seam. I'll sprinkle water on the stitch line and give it a very good press. I'll repeat the same thing on the other side as well. After joining, this is how it will look. As you can see, I've joined the two colors together. I opened up the seam and I gave it a good press. This is how it looks. I'm still going to weave the edges later. So I decided to add rope to the back neckline just to beautify the neckline. It is absolutely optional. So from the leftover fabric, I cut a long strip of fabric. The wideness is 1.5 inches. I needed 2 long strips. The wideness of each is 1.5 inches. The length can be any length of your choice, depending how long you want it to be. So I'm going to use this long strip. I will fold the 2 edges with 1/2 inch, fold on top. You know the normal way we normally sew rope. Then I will fix it to the edge of the back neckline that I will tie around my back neck just to beautify it. After that, I will sew the sides. I will hem the down parts, and that's about it for this tutorial. This is the final look, guys. As you can see, it is very easy to make. If you want to attach this sequence to yours, you'll be attaching it to the Bubu with your needle and thread. There is a hole on the sequence where you can place on your fabric anywhere that you prefer. Then you will use needle and thread. Preferably, you will use invisible thread to tack it down. So when you get to the market, just ask them to give you invisible thread. It also has its own needle. The needle of the invisible thread is size 12. I think I use size 12. So that's about it, guys. We've come to an end of today's tutorial. If you find my tutorial helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel down below if you've not done so. I upload weekly tutorial on my channel. Also remember to click the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Until I come your way next, thanks for watching. Please stay safe and remain blessed. Love you all. Bye.